So the following tier list you're about to see in this video is me rating the worst Traitor Legions. There's a lot of controversy around this with chat because apparently I'm 110% wrong, where I think I'm 110% right with the following results that I'm about to show off. The reason I've rated these from like S tier as like the worst of the worst all the way down to I think it was like D tier, which is like the least worst of the traitors with their actions they did and the reasons why they fell towards chaos. Hopefully enjoy it. And I would love to get your feedback on this tier list. Am I right? Am I based? Or am I completely wrong? Post your comments down below. Enjoy. So this is going to be my traitor tier list on who I think are the worst to the least worst in terms of Legion traitors. The atrocities, what they did, why they fell to chaos, their reasons and stuff. S is the worst. D, I like, do you know what? I understand why they went chaos, okay? I understand. And we're actually starting with one of my favourites. One of my favourites, and I have massive respect for these guys, and that is Angron and his boys. This is the World Eaters. And I'm putting World Eaters straight away into D tier. And I'll tell you why I'm putting into D tier, because out of all the traitors, even though they're the most brutal, the most violent, they were the most honourable out of all the traitors. Angron, a lot of people see him as a monster, an absolute fiend. But before he went full-on demon Primarch, Angron literally wanted to warn the loyalists about the ambush at Isfahan. He said to Horus, "This is not honourable. What you're doing is absolutely despicable. I'm here for a fair fight. If we die, we die. But at least I go out with honour." Then Horus had to step in and like slap him around a bit. And their reasons of falling down the path of chaos, mate, you can kind of understand it, right? Firstly, the Emperor never saved Angron and all his brothers and sisters. He could have stepped in and saved them, but he chose not to. That left a bad taste in Angron's mouth. And ever since then, Angron had that in him. Like, why? Why? Why should I do this? Why should I be loyal? And then he took that rage out on his Legion, and his Legion turned into the monsters that they were. The Legion embraced the nails to be closer to their Gene Father, which then kind of damned them down that path of blood into Khorne's realm. I understand why they fell. It's a sad, sad story. It's an absolute sad, sad story with Angron. Don't say it's the worst take. I'm not having this, chat. It's not the worst take. I feel sorry for the World Eaters. So there is tier list number D. The first one. The World Eaters are on there.
It's being reboxed. People always run around like chickens with their heads cut off every time GW does this. Calm your teats, everyone. Don't run out to buy the last Bane Blade.
It is, mate. The Bane Blade's being reboxed. Just calm down, brothers and sisters. Next up, Death Guard. Probably one of the most bitch-ass legions during the Horus Heresy. Not all the way in S tier, right?
That's right, Imperial Fist being number one is the worst take.
Listen, mate, Daka's raging in chat. Hear me out. This Primarch, right, was all about, I don't want to be a slave to the Emperor and his ways. No way. Why are we with him? I want to serve Horus instead. Next thing, he's shown his ass to Nurgle, and he's succumbing to Nurgle's favour. He became an eternal slave of the Chaos God. And let's not forget, right? Let's not forget, it was Mortarion who was absolutely 110% against Psykers. He hated Psykers. The Council of
Remember the
Ikea.
Death Guard were from Albion.
right? Make the Death Guard were from basically where England is now. Mate, but they were all Southerners. They weren't from up north, right? They weren't down the pits. They were Southerners. They were sucker and jellied eels and stuff like that. So this guy did the Council of I always call it Nikea, okay? Right? The Council of Nikea. Where it was like, these psychers are all bad. Don't trust the witch, right? Burn the witch kind of thing. Next minute, he turned into a giant fucking moth. What are you on about, no witchcraft? You're literally a giant moth, mate. This guy makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. What is he on about?
Requisitions arrive. The heretics will burn.
75 IQ understanding of the Traitor Legions BTW.
Listen, people in chat, it was all Typhus's fault. That makes it even worse. He got played like a fiddle by his first captain. This is supposed to be a Primarch. They're supposed to be out there, have minds that you can't comprehend. And Typhus, of all people, played him like a fiddle. That makes, do you know what? He should go into ST just for that. Just for that. Just for that. Absolutely played. Thousand Suns. Do you know what? This is a hard one. This is a hard one. Do you know what? I'm going to put this in the middle. I was going to go C, but I have some explanations, okay? I have some explanations.
That's the tragedy of Mortarion. Forced to watch his sons die because of what made them such a force, their durability. He became a slave to save his sons. We know you can't read, but Simon.
Listen, right? Dawn was in the Eternal Desert, getting pounded by Khorne. Do you know what Dawn did? He read in the Geneva Convention.
Requisitions arrive.
Dawn beat a Chaos God. Don't give me this bullshit about Mortarion.
Need to explain what S means.
Right?
What is the curve?
S are the worst of the worst. S are the worst of the worst. It's like, let's not even talk about them. They're that bad. All right? Right? We've moved on. We've moved on. Cry all you want about Death Guard. They where they belong. A tier for absolute assholes. If you don't like it, that's your problem. They are where they are. This is my opinion. If you don't like it, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Right. B tier.
Requisitions arrive.
Right?
The heretics will burn.
B tier.
You put fucking Magnus as better than Morty? Friendship ended.
No. Now I'm saying Mortarion's worse than Magnus. He's not better than him, he's worse than him. I actually do feel sorry for Magnus, okay? Because Magnus knew what the warp was from the beginning. He found the Emperor in the warp. The Emperor found Magnus in the warp with his psychicness. All right? And Magnus then, he got censured because of Mortarion and his little bitch fit. All right? He couldn't use his powers. And then he saw... He saw Horus turning traitor. Right?
Do you really think what Mortarion did saved his sons? Have you ever seen a plague
Exactly.
marine?
Exactly. Dawn would rather die on his feet than live on his knees. Death Guard are a bunch of slags. Sorry for the language. Right, let's move on. Well, it's finished. It's finished with the Death Guard now. Cry in your cook corner, right? Watching as Mortarion gets the plague. So, the Thousand Suns.
Requisitions arrive.
When it comes to the Thousand Suns, I actually do feel sorry for him a little bit.
Dead AF. Shanked by some puny chaos boys, though. Not great either.
We're not doing the loyalist here. We're doing the chaos tier. Grow up, you baby. Now Magnus wanted to alert the Emperor. He saw Horus turning traitor, and he was like, "Stand back, my sons. I'm about to do maths." But boy, oh boy, am I bad at numbers. He literally went through the webway, destroyed the Golden Throne, and it was because of Magnus the Emperor could intervene and stop this literally the next day. Magnus should have just listened to the Emperor's ruling and done nothing. and wait for the Emperor's command. Magnus literally did everything wrong. He thought he was doing it right, but he did everything wrong. And with that, of course, what's it called? The flesh curse. You know what happened with like Lehman Russ attacking everything like that? Yeah, mate, it all happened and then it all went south from there.
Favorite is corn. Rogel. Corn.
And do you know what? And to be fair, the Emperor offered Magnus redemption. At the Siege of Terror, he said, listen, mate, I can help you. We can resolve this. But Magnus is like, I'm not giving up my sons. Mate, your sons are already lost. They were already fucking effed up. They were already monsters. Ahriman, at this time, he didn't do like, you know, I call it the dust curse, right? He didn't do that at this time, but he eventually did it. Mate, they're already gone. Magnus could have redeemed himself, and he chose not to. So, they're B tier. They're not quite up there. They're in the middle, right? They are in the middle. Sons of Horus. This is a tricky one. They weren't really the instigators. Do you know what? A tier. Right, listen, hear me out. We have to... They're not the worst of the worst, but we have to put them up there. Okay? Horus, again, was played like a fiddle. The word bearers basically got their claws into the Sons of Horus like many other the legions, right? And they set up all the secret, you know, whisper societies and everything like that. Horus got played in a dream.
Dorn died to cultists. He wouldn't survive the Destroyer Plague.
Never.
Death Guard on top the Imperial Fist. Never forget they overwhelmed them at the siege.
I really think Horus was goaded into it all. And I'll tell you this for free. Horus stopped being Horus when he went... Oh, mate, what was that book called? Where the Sons of Horus went to that planet and Horus went through that, like, warp gate. And he was there for, like, thousands of years to get, like, the power of the Chaos Gods, then came back out. He was more or less changed then. I forgot what that book was called. It's a great book. It's a fantastic book. It's been so long ago since, you know, I did the Horus Heresy. It wasn't False Gods. It wasn't False Gods. It wasn't on... No, Moloch is where he got stabbed for the first time, right? I did your job for you. No, Daka, mate, I'm not looking at your tier list. Was it called the Vengeful Spirit?
Discord DMs. I did your job for you.
Sorry, yeah, mate, you're right. That was Davin, mate. What am I on about, mate? It was Davin where he got shanked on. And, mate, I think you're right. I think it was Moloch. Mate, he went through that portal, he came out, and Horus wasn't Horus then. It was Chaos. It was the Chaos Gods who were in control. And they were operating him like fucking Sooty and Sweep, like the sock puppets. Right? They were just playing him like that. But I will give Horus his dues. When he kicked off the powers of chaos, he saw what the monster he become, and he told the Emperor, right, you know, destroy me. Destroy me. And, mate, there was a great line for the Emperor, mate. I'm going to absolutely butcher it. But he says, I see you, I forgive you, or something like that. And, right, was it like, we'll meet again, or something? And then the Emperor mind blasted him to death. So, again, I can't really blame... I can blame them, because they chose the path they chose. That's why they're on A tier, but they're not S tier. Right? I forgive you and I wait for you. Is that what it was? Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I'll wait for you. Mate, that's pretty nice. I think the Emperor...
Where are the biggest traitors? The Dark Angels.
Do you know what, right? The Dark Angels probably should be on this tier list. The Dark Angels absolutely should be on this tier list. You are right. You are right.
I was a raging Ghulaman fanboy, but after a combination of Val's rants and old poop lore, I admire Dorn now. Still a salamander / white scar, but Dorn third.
DA.S tier, mate. DA.S tier. Right, let's move on. We've done the Thousand Sons. Word Bearers. the worst of the worst. I don't think I even want to speak about them, to be fair with you, because everything they've done. The worst of the worst. All because Lorgar got a slap on his hands about making churches and worshipping the Emperor. He had to go off and find something to believe in. He made all the lodges. He literally is the foundation of the downfall of the Imperium. You've got some of the worst characters ever made. Erebus, Corferon, that come from this legion. I don't think anyone can disagree that these guys are just terrible, terrible people. They are the worst. Zadulaik, yeah, Zadulaik is another one. Basically, the word bearers are Argentina. They are the worst. 110%. You can't trust them. They will betray anyone, right? They will betray anyone to get their own way. They are the worst. That's it. They're the worst. Next up, not Emperor's Children, Alpha Legion. I'm going to put Alpha Legion in D tier. Because technically, they were split in half. Some of them were loyal, some of them were traitors, and they chose to go against the Emperor, not to rule over the Emperor, but to destroy chaos in a way. If you've read the book Legion and the Cabal and stuff like that, I can kind of understand their reasons. I think they were pretty weak for listening to Xenos. But Dawn did kill one of their Primarchs, so I do feel a bit sorry for him. Right? He went down like Lemon's wife. So yeah, I'm going to put Alpha Legion D tier. They're one of the least worst Traitor Legions. Right? They're one of the least worst Traitor Legions, in my opinion, during the Horus Heresy. Oh, mate, he definitely killed one of their Primarchs. The author actually said it was definitely one of their Primarchs. You understand them? We'll never understand them. But let's just say they're there, right? They're there where they are. Next up, Emperor's Children. A tier. Not quite Lorgar and the Word Bearers. Do you know what? No, I'm wrong here. I'm going to put them as S tier. What a bunch of cunts. I forgot what they did when they first started to go traitor. Mate, they actually do belong at S tier. I forgot what they did to the civilians and stuff like that. Absolutely disgusting Legion. Fulgrim, again, probably one of the most hubris, one of the most head up his ass Primarchs. He literally listened to a sword and betrayed the Emperor because of the sword. Alright? They started to, like, draw paintings in their own poop and bodily fluids and stuff. And then he became a big fucking snake. Right? A big old snake. And let's not forget, this guy killed the brother he loved the most. That is S tier. Absolutely S tier cuntish behavior. Top tier cuntish. I think they may be worse than the word. No, they're not worse than the Word Bearers. No one's worse than the Word Bearers. Right? Right? No one's worse than the Word Bearers. He tortured Rylnor, yeah, but that was after the Horus Heresy. This is like Horus Heresy-esque related. He also broke free from the demon possession and decided to stay demon. He did. So the old law for Fulgrim was basically when Fulgrim killed Ferrus Manus, he was like, what have I done? No, kind of thing. And he gave his body over to the demon. But another book came out by Gray McNeil called Reflection Cracked, where it's basically Fulgrim retaking over his body and he's fine with everything. And he's like, do you know what? I like nipple rings now. I like it when it hurts, when it goes in. Which I never could have, like, I can't understand that because the sadness and the forever damnation of Fulgrim was that he was trapped within his own body while this demon committed atrocities. Do you know what I mean? That was like the absolute sadness of Fulgrim's story. But now it's like, no, it was me all along kind of thing. Yeah, mate, I absolutely hate that. I hate that they changed that. Anyway, moving on to the Iron Warriors. A tier. Right? Hear me out. Hear me out with A tier of how terrible and pathetic and crybaby-ish this Legion is. Alright? Hear me out. This guy betrayed the Emperor because he couldn't build the M62 motorway. He couldn't build a block of flats at the end of his street. The Emperor's giving us all the bad jobs. The trench warfare jobs. All I want to do is build cities. Did you ever fucking think, Perturabo, the Emperor gave you the hard jobs because he knows you're an absolute unit and you're the Legion that can take on those tasks? No, but instead, you saw the negative in everything. Do you know why? Because you're a big old baby. A big old iron baby. Maybe if you stayed the course, right, you could have come back to Terra with Dawn and built something. But you chose not to. You chose to side with Horus and betray everything and everyone. On top of that, he even betrayed the traitors. He quit on them at the Siege of Terror. He betrayed the traitors.
Requisitions arrive. The heretics
he left Horus. He left them.
Shitty lazy writing that was though. Sure have Fulgrim be an asshole, but at least write it well that they become absolute degenerates.
I'm reading chat now. Right? His whole reasoning for leaving the siege was like, I'm surrounded by monsters. Mortarian's a monster. Right? Angron's a monster. Fulgrim's a monster. Right? What did you expect? You sided with traitors. These guys have no loyalty, no respect for anything. What did you expect, you absolute bloody twat? Mate, this guy cries hunger with a ham under his arm. He doesn't know what day it is. Right? He doesn't know what day it is. Absolute shambolic. What an absolute loser pride. Night Lords, S tier. Any debate? Let me start, all right? These guys literally committed war crimes in 40k, which is a feat because everything in 40k is technically a war crime. But these guys committed war crimes on the war crimes. They were literally skinning entire populations. And let's not forget, when Conrad Kurz was brought to censure by his loyalist brothers, he attacked Rogel Dawn from behind, may I add. This is a Primarch that has foresight. And he foresaw his ass being handed to him by Rogel Dawn. That's why he attacked him when Dawn wasn't looking. Because he knew Dawn would come up.
Perturbo, I want to paint a castle.
And then he went off and did his things, and then the whole heresy kicked off. Terrible Primarch, terrible Legion. They don't deserve anything. Right? Whoa, whoa, whoa. God forbid a man keep a few ears. Dark Angels walk, then Batman cosplayers. If Dawn fights Kurz 100 times, Dawn loses 100 times, take the L. Mate, so why did Perturabo attack Dawn from the rear? Why didn't he fight him properly? Because he's a little bitch. That's why. Baby bitch Conrad Kurz. That's his new name.
They did it for the love of the game.
They did it for the love of the game. And that's my tier list of all the traitors. I would put Dark Angels probably in C tier or D tier. Because of everything that happened. Probably D tier. Because half of them did stay loyal, and half of them were kind of betrayed by a few of them. They didn't really understand what was going on.
Remember, the Night Lords didn't do it for Horus. They did it for the love of the game. Gotta respect the hustle.
So there we go. That is my tier list. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, then that's down on you. But everything I said there is 10 out of 10. You can't disagree. That is a 100% correct tier list from the worst Traitor Legion to the least worst Traitor Legion on how they fell, the actions they did, etc., etc. There we go. You can't disagree.